Welcome to Retrotopia, not Retro Wars, as I continuously try to say as I try to introduce this podcast. My name is Brian, and with me, as always, to introduce our game of the week is Sam.
Hey everybody, this week we are talking Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow, and we have a special guest, Danny from Retro Wars. How are you, Danny?
Good morning, everybody, or good evening, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I am cold, I am miserable, and as we've just been finding out, you two are very hot, and we're going to be getting some sweat under boob from Brian.
That's the greatest part. We're so far apart in the world that it's actually winter where you are, turning into spring/summer where we are. You guys made me turn off my fan. I can already feel the underboob sweat. My shirt is getting kind of moist. But no, it's great. Yeah, Danny, we invited you here because you, sir, originally were the Honest Pokemon Trainer.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about your history with the whole Pokemon franchise.
Oh, God, I've been playing Pokemon since day dot. I remember, so back in the day when we used to get gaming magazines and we got little guidebooks from there, there was one particular guidebook and I was looking through and it just had this thing for Pocket Monsters. No idea what it was because it wasn't out in the UK at that point. And it said, catch fire, catch ice, catch thunder. I was like, what's that? Because there wasn't really any games I can think of like that at the time. I was like, catch anything. And yeah, kind of just went, all right, that sounds weird. And then the screenshots started appearing in the magazines that this thing, a Pokemon, is going to be coming over to the West. I eventually saw it, got excited by it, and thought this is going to be something different. Got like the Nintendo official magazine guidebook. I thought this is special. And literally flew out, got Pokemon Blue day one. Poor mummy got nagged to hell, and me and my brother got that. We shared it between us until my brother realised, oh shit, we need two. So we had to get Pokemon Red, but I literally just played it and was playing. So I was 11, 12, something like that, and non-stop. And it's been like that way ever since, really. I've been playing through every single Pokemon generation. Someone put hours in. Like, God, Pokemon Diamond. I put so many, hundreds of hours into that. Some I haven't put as many, the newest ones I haven't put as many hours into. So it all depends on what I like and obviously time as well. But I've been a Pokemon nerd since day dot, and yeah, my wife hates every moment of it, to be honest.
You used to have a Pokemon channel under the Honest Pokemon Trainer, did you not?
Yes, I did. I always wanted to do YouTube. I always wanted to do something, and I thought, why not do something? And because every person I saw who did Pokemon videos is always like nicey, like, hi, this is Pokemon, we have so much fun here. And I wanted to be an angry human being, like kind of like how I normally am. So I decided, well, why not just be honest about those things? And then I went with the Honest Pokemon Trainer. In reality, not the best name because that kind of doesn't help on the algorithm. And so I started making my own YouTube channel, and it wasn't until I started doing Nuzlocks, which we'll probably get onto at some point. So specific challenge videos. So I think I did a video with complete Pokemon. I think it was complete Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu with just a Magikarp. And that's when the channel started to actually make some traction.
What?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was. It was that, and then I did, it wasn't fun.
I can't imagine.
The only way you could do that was because you actually got experience just catching Pokemon. That was the way I had to do it. Otherwise, you ain't doing it with a splash. It's just not working. So yeah, I did that. I was sad.
Jeez.
Wow. So since then,
we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But since then, you've moved on. You started let's call it the famous podcast called Retro Wars that you so graciously let me and Sam be guest hosts on. What led you from being the Honest Pokemon Trainer to starting Retro Wars?
Well, I kind of got banned. Well, shadow banned because I showed big boobies and it's clothed boobies. And the whole point was to talk about how ridiculously big they were. Not to perv on them, just to kind of go, that's obscene. That is outrageous. And I got shadow banned. And I kind of was getting burnt out doing the amount of Pokemon videos I was doing. So at one stage, I spent weeks doing all the evolutions on Heart Gold and Nuzlocke. And I just said, this is killing me now. This isn't fun. And I kind of dropped it all. I was kind of done. And I was listening to another friend of the podcast, Adam, from Remember the Game, and I kind of got inspired to maybe do my own one / copy it. and went from there. And eventually, I was like, "Well, I need a title," and came up with Retro Wars, and I've been doing that ever since, and absolutely loving it. Love every minute of it. The show's over 2 years old now, and it's literally me, and it's not going anywhere. So I consider that like my little baby, my project, and I love it. And having you two on the show is good fun. And especially as you two are continually getting better, especially you, Sam, on the microphone, it's great to have you on and see like how much you've, again, mostly Sam, no offense, Brian, because you've obviously been doing this for a lot longer, but Sam, you've been getting better every time you come on the microphone, which is really, really good to hear.
Well, thanks. You know, I appreciate that.
I'm just going to sit here and just like stand in the corner and like kick the dirt now, because obviously Sam's getting better, but I'm just like mediocre at best, and I peaked.
No, excuse me. Whoa. If you want me to get on my knees, I will. You've been fine since day dot, so don't you worry, sunshine. You've been A-okay. So yeah, I will get on the knees if you need me to. Just make sure you pay me.
Oh yeah. Well, don't worry. The Australian and Canadian dollar are pretty on par right now, so I think I can afford you.
Yeah, we should be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite thing about podcasting? I mean, you've obviously you started out quite a while ago, and I joined your Patreon telling you basically to stop kicking yourself in the ass all the time. And you have continuously improved, and I know we've had this conversation before. You're never going to call yourself good because you want to keep that that forward drive. But what's your favorite thing so far you've done about podcasting?
I think there's a few things, like when it comes to speaking with people, it's so much fun. I've just had a laugh doing some of these episodes. Like literally, I think the one I've laughed at the most was doing the Road to World Cup '98. Like I actually broke in that episode. I was fully gone, but it's just getting to speak to such a wide variety of people and getting to argue with them in a jokey way, never nasty. But it's just so much fun, and I get to play video games I've never played before, and there are so many. Because I was like, oh, why didn't I play that game before? Why didn't I play that? And like, I'd never played Fire Emblem. I played the odd Fire Emblem games, but I now get to play more of them. There are some ones, the Dragon Quest was a prime example. Dragon Quest. I'd never played any Dragon Quest games until this podcast, and now I'm hooked on them. Absolutely hooked. And I love it. I just absolutely love it. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I think Breath of Fire was the best episode because...
Oh, don't you fucking start. Don't you start. You're an absolute dickhead. Oh, let's play Breath of Fire. And I thought, oh, this will be fun. No, it wasn't. I'd rather pull my own teeth out with literally the rustiest pliers ever. Everybody can look forward
to Breath of Fire 3, then 4. We're going to do them all, Danny. We're going to do them all.
I'm not going to sit here excited about that.
I know, he's just hung up.
Yeah, he just hung up. Like, screw you guys.
Yeah.
Just more than was that potential.
Yeah, you did start a YouTube channel on game retrospectives recently, and as we all know, you just got to your 1,000 subscriber there. And how's the YouTube channel going now? You're back on YouTube doing these videos. Are you finding them as intensive as your originals?
Well, I'm just trying to have... Well, I've learnt my lessons essentially from the old YouTube style. So that basically means no boobies. Don't put on boobies. But also, it's having that focus. The original Honest Pokemon Trainer tried to do too much of everything. And when it comes to YouTube, that really wrecks you. So when you do YouTube, you stay in one thing and you stay consistent with what you want to do. And I realised that was what I needed to do, is to stay what it should be. And now it's just gaming retrospectives and doing retro video games only. So expect only retro video games going forward and nothing more. So, but I do like that because I get to do these like between 45-minute, hour-long projects. And yeah, it's something I can really sink my teeth into because I've always got to be doing something. If I'm not doing something, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, are you recording the game video yourself, or are you borrowing them from other sources?
I borrow it from another source. I have a good friend who I emailed them on, and they said, "Oh yeah, join us on Discord." And I literally asked him, "Can I have this game?" And he goes, "Bang!" and drops all the files for me. So nice. Final Fantasy X, I had gigs upon gigs upon gigs of data. I was like, "Holy shit!" And I've got to try and work through that. But it's the best way of doing it. Otherwise, you've got to screen record stuff, which is a pain in the arse, and then you've always potentially got their little thing in the corner. So it's never the best thing, but to get the actual raw data that means I've just got the raw gameplay footage. And as long as I just basically say they gave it to me, they haven't got a problem with it, which I'll continue to do.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I must say that, particularly, I'm most familiar with that Pokemon retrospective that you did, but those videos are well put together and really worth your time for the listeners here. If you haven't checked those out, you should get on YouTube and start watching some of Danny's retrospectives. They are fantastic.
And where can we find those, Sam?
On YouTube.
Exactly. I have a blurb for you to read.
Oh, where's that?
You're a dickhead.
You know what? I'll read it. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
So you can find Danny and his show Retro Wars Weekly wherever you get your podcasts. You can check out his YouTube at youtube.com/@RetroWarsUK. And if you want to talk to Danny directly, which he's a good guy to talk to, you can get him on Twitter at RetroWarsUK, where he does... What's the segment you do public on Retro Wars?
Oh, it is Stick It Up Your Jinjo.
Stick
It Up Your Jinjo.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good segment.
So you can participate. Yeah, you can participate in the Retro Wars without joining his Patreon. But for $2 a month, you can join his Patreon. And you can join me, and I couldn't agree more.
$2. It's $1. $1.
Is it $1? Oh Jesus! I just upped the price by like double.
Well, just yeah, I was gonna say quietly increase it by $1.
Yeah, exactly. Slightly.
Just
oh,
don't
you
tell
little
anybody.
shits. Yeah, so Captain N, you're going to be short. It's going to be going up shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck, I can't afford $2. Or what's that Simpsons quote? Motel 8. Dad can't afford $8 a night.
I'll have to
eat my finger
today.
All right, Sam, let's get into the normal talk there. So I've kind of hogged the mic here. So what have you been up to in your life, Sam?
Oh man, it's been very busy in my personal life. So I've been trying to keep up with everything, podcast wise and gaming wise. But other than just keeping busy with work, I've been playing a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn. Which, if you're in our Discord, you know that PlayStation's removed it from PS Plus, and they had some relatively confusing messaging as to whether or not it would be available. But I think the final verdict is, if I had it downloaded to my console and I was playing it, it has not gone away. So
luckily, you're lucking out, because when Stray did that, they cut me off like the day after, just basically took the cocaine right away from me.
Ooh, I wonder, maybe they forgot to do something, but all that stuff is automated, so I'm relatively confident that I'll be able to continue playing it until I'm finished with it, which I think I almost am. Awesome. And then Pokemon. I've been playing this playthrough of Pokemon. I've been taking my time with it since March, so I've been playing it a little bit here, a little bit there, but the last week or so I've gone on my final lieutenant surge of grinding and getting through the Elite Four. So that's been fun, because I haven't played through on the original game in a while.
Hoorah.
How about you,
boys?
How about
you, Danny? What have you been? Yeah, what have you been up to in life?
I have been, apart from the usual work and football bollocks, I've been playing Dragon Quest VI on my mobile phone, and I have been playing... I just cracked out... actually, two things I've done. Nearly done Professor Layton on the DS, and also I'm currently on Phantasy Star, the first one, on the Master System. So I'm trying to get that little one done as well.
Oh, yeah. We just did Phantasy Star not too long ago. That was a good game.
I'm playing the Ages version.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
so
from the sounds of it, there's a significant difference playing the Ages version than the usual one.
Well, they added a map, so you don't have to grab a book of graph paper there and draw your own maps for every level.
Yeah, I can notice that. There's a bit of a difference there, isn't it? It makes it so much easier.
That's all they had to do to make the game just absolutely great from the get-go, but they couldn't even do that.
Well, it was a Master System. Give it some chance.
Yeah, it would have been tough to do a screen in the screen. Yeah. Just throwing shade at the Master System.
Yeah, fuck you, Master System.
That's why I was a Nintendo kid. All right, my life, I've been trying to learn Unity and C# programming, and I've been doing the Unity course online, and it's been going good, except for I lost my notebook, so I've kind of hit a wall, because that notebook had everything I've done in it, and I still reference it. So, yeah, I just kind of stopped that for the week while I recharge. My Pokemon save file corrupted.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was like 15 to 20 hours of gameplay. I made it to the second gym, or maybe the third gym, the one with Misty. And I was I was like getting ready to take that on, and then that's kind of where the game file kind of corrupted. So I'm going off in nostalgia. I'm a Pokemon Yellow player, so I never played Red or Blue before, but I did play Yellow because I was really into the cartoon, and Yellow very much mimics the cartoon, so there is some differences that way. Other than that, I've been playing Minish Cap, which is an upcoming episode. I've been playing Ace Attorney, which I'm almost done. That's also an upcoming episode, but of Retro Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in 10 years. We'll see how it goes. Can't have too much Brian on Retro Wars. Other than that, no, everything else is, it's just been so hot, I barely move right now because it has been 30 degrees or 95 Fahrenheit here for the last couple of days. We had a huge storm yesterday, and I have just been kind of on autopilot for the last 5 days. But that's everything. So, thanks everybody for listening. If you want to join in on the conversation, you can. If you can find our Discord, our Facebook, our Twitter, or our YouTube at linktree/Retrotopia. That's linktr.ee/Retrotopia.
All right, and now we are going to transition to the game, but before we do that, we are going to listen to our good friend Alan and the Gentleman's Interlude.
Now then, young Pokemon trainer, it's time for you to set out on your Pokemon adventure. And I am well aware of how preposterously underage you are, but that is a chance I'm willing to take. Now off you go, and don't worry, I'll take good care of your mum. The Pokemon series began with the release of Pokemon Red and Green in Japan on February 27th, 1996. Pokemon Blue followed on October 15th, 1996, and Pokemon Yellow was released on September 12th, 1998. In North America, Pokemon Red and Blue were released on September 28th, 1998, with Pokemon Yellow arriving on October 19th, 1999. Europe saw Pokemon Red and Blue on October 5th, 1999, and Pokemon Yellow on June 16th, 2000. The development of Pokemon Red and Green was a long journey that started in 1990, spearheaded by Game Freak and led by Satoshi Tajiri. Inspired by his childhood passion for insect collecting and a desire to create a game that encouraged social interaction, Tajiri envisioned a world where players could capture, train and trade creatures known as pocket monsters or Pokemon. Despite facing numerous challenges, including hardware limitations of the Game Boy and financial constraints, the concept garnered support from Nintendo and Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of iconic franchises such as Mario and Zelda. Pokemon Blue was created as an enhanced version of Red and Green, featuring improved graphics and sound. Pokemon Yellow, known as the Special Pikachu Edition, was developed to align more closely with the immensely popular Pokemon animated series. In this version, Pikachu, the electric mouse Pokemon, follows the player throughout the game, much like its role in the TV show, which shocked players with its adorable and engaging presence. Upon their release, Pokemon Red and Blue received widespread critical acclaim. Reviewers praised the game's addictive gameplay, depth, and innovative multiplayer features. The concept of capturing and training Pokemon was particularly well received, as was the battle strategy. This ignited the imaginations of players worldwide, with Charmander, the fiery lizard Pokemon, being a fan favorite. The ability to trade Pokemon with friends via the Game Boy's link cable was a groundbreaking feature that splashed into social gaming, much like Squirtle, the water-type turtle Pokemon, splashing into battle. This feature encouraged players to interact and trade to complete their Pokédex, embodying the social aspect that Tajiri had envisioned. Bulbasaur, the seed Pokemon, planted the seeds of strategy early in the game, teaching players the importance of type advantages and battle tactics. The captivating characters and strategic gameplay ensured that players were thoroughly engaged. Pokemon Yellow also received positive reviews, particularly for its enhancements and the novelty of having Pikachu as the protagonist. This version's close alignment with the animated series brought additional charm. However, some critics noted that it was mainly similar to Red and Blue, with only a few added features. Nevertheless, players were put to sleep with delight by Jigglypuff's soothing songs, a nod to one of the series' most memorable and endearing Pokemon. Fans enjoyed the evolving forms of Eevee, which kept them on their toes, while the mischievous Meowth made players purr with its antics. Snorlax's sleepy demeanor offered a rest from the action-packed battles, and the patient players who trained Magikarp were rewarded when it evolved into the powerful Gyarados, making a splash in battles. Overall, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, and Green established a groundbreaking franchise that has continued to evolve and captivate fans worldwide. The original games laid the foundation for a series that has become one of the most successful and beloved in video game history. These early titles set the stage for a phenomenon that would grow into a global cultural icon, influencing not only gaming but also various aspects of entertainment and media.
There, once again, Alan has done us absolute pure British gold. He's our favorite British guy. Offense meant, Danny.
Yeah, cheers, pricks.
God, the fact that I know two British people right now is just kind of more like two more British people than I thought I'd ever know in my life.
Yeah, same here. I don't get out much.
No, exactly, especially to Britain or Australia.
Yeah, I can be your Aussie and British friend. I cover both.
Exactly. Take that, raging demon.
If you're British and Aussie, is that a brassiere? Or what is that?
Oh.
It's like a
Asking
brassiere.
the real questions.
Yeah, well, essentially we own Australia. We own the world, so maybe that's it. I'm just claiming our land. The British Empire shall return.
That is kind of true, because Canada still sucks the king's dick, and so does Australia. I mean, we're
praise
whores.
King Charles.
You praise King Charles. You have to say that, otherwise the British Empire will come for you.
They do. Oh, we've just announced an election. They're going to come after us.
Oh, Jesus. You guys are screwed.
Yep.
All right. Let's get into some game talk here. And before we do that, we do have some comments. So me and Sam will alternate the comments. Danny, feel free to answer or do what you do best during your comment section, 16 bits of nonsense, at any time you feel like. So first comment is from Big Kid 782, and he says, I remember getting my first Pokemon game and being upset. I thought it was a kid's game and I wanted Dragon Ball Z game that Christmas. Little did I know I would get hooked on this game and thoroughly enjoy it. Great comment. I also wanted Dragon Ball Z everything, and I got it because Pokemon is second nature.
Man, I didn't have a Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, I didn't have Dragon Ball Z as a video game until the PS2. I didn't even realize there were Game Boy games until recently.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
Oh, there was Dragon Ball GT Final Bout that came out the same time Final Fantasy VII did, and I hemmed and hawed about which one I was going to buy, but Final Fantasy VII won out, of course.
Probably the better choice.
It is the biggest disgrace of a video game you'll ever see. Final Bout. Oh my god.
Worst part is, Final Bout became worth about $300 Canadian on eBay not long after for the original copy, and Final Fantasy VII, of course, became worth nothing because it's always been sold. So I could have had a valuable video game and then just bought Final Fantasy VII next week. Oh well. That's how life goes. Sam, next comment.
This comes from Super Dave, who says, perfectly balanced as all should be. And these games were also my cheat code to quickly make friends. No matter how often I moved to a new town or how far, my first step was usually to find my fellow Poke people in school. I can't wait to listen to the episode. Keep up the good work.
Sadly, he has to wait to listen to the episode because he made the comment a week ago, and it doesn't come out till next week.
Well, I mean, you can be our Poke friends, Super Dave. Although I don't know that it's perfectly balanced. Well, I have some thoughts.
This is not balanced.
This is not
game
balanced.
is not balanced, you fuck.
It's very fun,
This
but
game
it is
is
not
broken.
It's broken as fuck.
I just like how Danny was biting his tongue there, and
Yeah,
it's like he was
I could-
waiting to unload.
I could hear Danny's like,
This
God,
game is never balanced in the
No.
slightest. I'll tell you that right now.
yeah, there's some
No,
fun.
I got some opinions on that.
There's some fun stuff in there, but it's very fun,
all right.
and it's like, yeah.
Well,
Next,
save it. Don't blow your load
I know.
too
I'm like,
soon.
I want to talk about it.
All right, next comment we have is from Savagery, the Hoagie Man. He says, remember when the Gen 1 Pokemon games released, I was young enough that it would make sense for me to play Pokemon, but old enough that my friends and I tried to act cool to play it. I was 12. But after looking at all the cool monsters, we thought, man, we really want to play that. So I did what any normal kid would do. I asked my great-grandparents if they would get it for me. Next thing I know, I have a brand new lime green Game Boy Color and my own copy of Pokemon Blue. Being able to play this at that age was a perfect adventure for any kid on to go on. Collecting monsters and trading and battling was incredible, and this game was like crack. These games will always have a special place in my heart. That was well said.
Yeah,
Not by me, by him.
I had the lime
I
green
just
Game Boy
butchered what
Color.
he said.
Yeah,
I had that as well. It's sexy.
yeah, the lime green one. But
I had-
before that, my original hardware to play this on was the yellow Game Boy Pocket with a copy of red.
I had the blue. Like, not the color, but the blue LCD screen or whichever it was. The one that came out after the original there.
Yeah,
that
the
was
Pocket.
my bread and butter.
Yeah,
Is that the Pocket?
Yeah, the Game Boy Pocket was
Okay.
incredible. That screen was sharp.
Still suffered from no backwards LED lights to light it up, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah, but it was a nice clean screen. It was just like the blacks were darker, and the it wasn't that puke green. It was kind of like a grayscale. It was just sharper.
How black were the blacks, Sam? Tell me how black the blacks were.
Oh, come on.
Go ahead for the next comment there, buddy.
All right, this comes from Raging Demon. No one can get you to buy 3 of the same game and a link cable quite like Nintendo. I had blue and my brother had red, and then I got yellow. It would take me another few decades to figure out how to actually catch a Mew. Also, infinite rare candy. Don't mind if I do. Your rival actually was a challenge, too. Pokemon was the best JRPG of the 8 and 16-bit eras. You are going to want to say I'm wrong, but once you start thinking about it, you will know that I'm right. Seriously, you telling me Square weren't kicking themselves about doing 99% of the work and not realizing, hey, animals enslaved in balls that fight each other for money. Why didn't we think of that?
Yeah, the Michael Vick, animal fighting simulator.
Right. Well, it's funny how you see Pokemon come out and then other games kind of try to not necessarily 100% mimic that style, but kind of incorporate the whole, like monsters that are your companions type deal into their games, because Pokemon was just such a phenomenon that, you couldn't ignore that mechanic.
Yeah, but oddly, they weren't the first. They just kind of did it the best for the time.
Right, I guess, yeah, did it the best, but really set the trend towards, I don't think we get some of the systems in like Final Fantasy 8 or 10 without Pokemon. I don't know. Like the GFs and how they level and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to fight over that later.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, all right. Captain Alcatraz, the British man himself, and the man we know as Alan, says, I remember I had a magazine, which he took to the bathroom, part I added, with a feature on these games which I obsessed over for ages. They just look so damn cool. Imagine... Oh, I should do this in the British accent. Imagine the joy when my mother came home one day and that beautiful blue box of Pokemon Joy. I popped that fucker in, and that was it. From my first steps out of Pallet Town to a late night victory over the Elite Four in the car back from my grandmother's house, these games have more than earned a special place in my heart and are absolute masterpieces of retro excellence. That hurt.
That was awful.
I bet it did.
Oh, man. I have just insulted the entire country of Great Britain.
Yeah, they're like, you go home, get drunk.
Actually, funny story about that. I pretty much am. Yeah, day drinking again. All right, let's finish it off with the last comment there, Sam.
I'll take the last one here from Unbuckled Cape. Pokemon took a young 4-year-old Cape and gave him an escape from his parents' divorce. I never played competitive and only ever completed one dex. Regardless, I have endless love for the franchise and what it did for me. Also, opening tune is my favorite of all time. Well said. Yeah, Pokemon
it is for the
an
cartoon. Yeah,
it is a comfort and an escape. I agree.
I seriously get goosebumps when you hear that opening guitar of the Pokemon show. They're like, I would put a clip in, but I don't want to get sued.
Oh, that too.
But you know what it is. If you know, you know. If you don't, you got to figure it out.
Well, but even the opening little musical thing on the game screen where it shows the little cutscene of it's good. Yeah,
it's recognizable, but it's nothing compared to the TV show.
Well, the TV show is great.
Oh, absolutely. All right, that is our comments. Before we start the actual discussion, I have a challenge for Sam and Danny, the two self-proclaimed Pokemon experts. One of our guests actually wrote in 151 poorly written descriptions of Pokemon. I picked 10. I'm going to say what he wrote, and you guys are going to guess which Pokemon it is. If there's a tie, then you have to guess what number Pokemon it is. It is the closest without going over. Mm-hmm. So,
all right, let's go.
Number 1, Fire Pony.
Ponyta.
Yeah.
Sam?
Yeah, that's Ponyta. Yep.
All right, point goes to Danny. Dumb Fish.
Magikarp.
Well, it's a tie. What number was he?
Ooh, 130.
Yeah, I think Magikarp. I think he's about 133.
Oh, damn.
It goes to Sam. It was 129.
Oh, 130 was Gyarados. Yes, the Nintendo Power Guide for the win.
All right. Has a dead mum.
Cubone.
It's going to Danny. He said I got it first. This one's an easy one. Psychic Baby.
Abra.
Psychic Baby.
Psychic Baby. Oh, Drowsy?
Both you got it wrong. It is Mew.
Oh.
Mew's not a baby.
Mew's a baby. Mewtwo's not a baby.
No, it's not a baby.
Mew's not a baby.
But you can yell at Wildcard.
I'm gonna.
You Wildcard, it's a psychic cat. It's not a baby. There's no evidence to say it's a baby. It just gets...
It's ancient.
It's not a baby.
Just unload. Come on, guys. It's Wildcard.
It's meant to be the first Pokemon. It's meant to be described. Okay, the first Pokemon could be many things. Let's be honest. I'm not going to bullshit here. It's either Bulbasaur, Raiden, Mew, or the God Arceus. So don't give me that shit. But it's not a baby. I'll come around and slap your face. It is not a baby.
Oh, man. Somebody set Danny right off.
Throwing that one out on a technicality.
Yeah, all right. So far, it's Danny 2 to Sam's 1. Next one is Existential Crisis Duck.
No, Psyduck.
That goes right to Sam.
Existential Crisis Duck. What the fuck?
I love Psyduck. Psyduck in the anime was so funny.
He was great.
Just chronic headaches.
Yeah. Next one is Pig Monkey.
Mankey.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. I was thinking
Yeah.
I was going Tapeg. I was going Generation 5.
Oh yeah,
geez, you're way
my
too
brain
off.
did that too. I was like, what pig Pokemon? There's a bunch, but yeah.
All right, going with the next one, Angry Pokeball.
Voltorb.
Oh,
That
nice.
goes
Yeah.
to Danny. Danny's holding. It's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's tied now.
Oh, is
3
it
to
locked
3. Mole Party.
Doug Trio.
That goes to Danny.
Nice.
All right, next one's coming up. You ready? Singing Ball.
Jigglypuff.
That goes to
there
Sam.
we go. Yeah.
Well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3.
No, I should have said Danny instead.
Yeah.
Singing ball.
It's terrifying I can do that voice.
It's
Oh,
Danny.
yeah.
It's a
This is
wild
why-
Danny.
This is why Danny's wife drops the daughter off at school.
Yeah, because I am a horrible human.
All right, final tie-breaking Pokemon. He is Fart Meteor.
Fart Media. I'm thinking Trubbish, but it's not Trubbish because that's Generation 5 again.
Fart.
Media.
Oh, is it like coughing or wheezing? Because like the because it
It is
shoots
coughing.
because it shoots the little
Sam has
shits
proven
out.
himself to be the Pokemaster in this show. Danny, thanks for
has.
playing. Your
I'm gonna go
consolation
home. I'm
prize
just-
is
Nothing.
your consolation prize is we'll come onto your show and give you a hard time. And pause 2, 3. All right, so on to the show because my save file kind of corrupted. I'm going to be more of the interviewer rather than the talker. I'll throw in my opinion here and there, but I'm going to leave it up to you guys because you got a lot of knowledge about this game. Like some of the discussions I've seen in Discord, some of the discussions I've seen between you two. I feel like I'm out of place here, so I'm going to pretty much yield to your expertise and my nostalgia. So let's start with when did you first play Pokemon? I think you mentioned it, Danny, but when did you first play Pokemon Blue or Red?
When I was 11, 12 years old, literally day dot. As soon as it came out, I had it in my hands and I blitzed it. Me and Squirtle / Leonardo went on our first little adventure together, and we realised how bad it was in the sense of there was no second save file. So my brother was like, "Oh no, I can't play." I was like, "No, you fucking can't."
Yeah, take that. Younger brother, I assume?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Yeah, fuck you, older brothers. Fuck you for not letting us use Controller 1.
I am the captain now.
Yeah, I've never been Mario in my life.
Not even now. Like
Yeah, I can't do it. I have to play Luigi. I can't play Mario's Odyssey because I can't play as Luigi.
No.
oh yeah, no
us-
single player Mario experience for you. Like any of the
Yeah,
3D
exactly.
Marios, you just can't play them.
How about you, Sam? When did you first play the game?
Yeah, I think I might be just a little bit younger than you, Danny. So like I started playing when I was 9 or 10. I think was when I first got my hands on Pokemon, and I think it was just about right when it came out. I think I had maybe seen it. I think one of the neighbors had a copy, and I saw it, and I instantly wanted to play it myself. So that Christmas, I think I had some family that we visited, and it was like a little bit of an early Christmas exchange. I got Pokemon Red and the Nintendo Power Strategy Guide with the stickers that when you caught a Pokemon, you could like pull the sticker off the sheet and put it in the Pokedex in the back of the book, and it was awesome. That strategy guide got so much use. It fell apart. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately, but it was I've played a lot of Pokemon since then. I got kind of out of it in the DS times. I didn't play a lot of DS games, but or any of the DS games I should say, but really came back to it in the Switch, and have been recollecting my Game Boy cartridges. So that's my history.
Yeah, you've been kind of showing those off. Me myself, I think I'm way older than you guys. I first bought it when I was 17. Maybe it was out for a few years. I don't know if I got it to Swit or right away, but I started with Yellow because, like I said, the TV show I really enjoyed. I don't know what I enjoyed about watching a 10-year-old run around and fight animals with, but I picked up Yellow. I played it through college, and when I joined the military, the Game Boy was the only piece of kit I could fit into my personal box, which is what we were allowed to keep on us during the course. So it was my entertainment during the off hours when I wasn't, polishing boots and making my rifle clean.
Is that what you call it?
Only, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Polishing my rifle.
Yeah, well, polishing my rifle and others' rifles in the shower. And next thing you know, it's don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
But no, Yellow is the only Pokemon I've actually played all the way up until Arceus. I did not like Arceus at all. My wife bought Pokemon Violet. She didn't like it. So I never touched it, but I do have Pokemon Violet and Arceus in my Switch collection. Other than that, I've never played a Pokemon since the original. And honestly, I don't know why. I love the original.
It's great.
Yellow was my jam, man.
Yeah.
It's nostalgia.
It is,
yeah. It's pure nostalgia.
Yeah, it is
like
a
looking at
powerful
it
drug.
today, it's a very bare bones RPG when it comes to like the mechanics. I mean, you level up your Pokemon, you fight your Pokemon, you use the same strategies you use in anything. Lightning beats, oh god, I can't even think. Anyways,
water, flying. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there is strategy here. I just don't know it, but it's pretty good. Like I said, I've been day drinking again. I gotta stop. This is Danny's fault. I don't know how, but
don't
it is.
you blame me.
I gotta keep up that energy, so I can't do it unless I'm drunk. I'm so nervous talking to a celebrity.
Oh shush! Oh shush! I'm blushing.
All right, so your initial impressions. What was your first thought when you first played the game? Like, how long did it take you to go from turning the game on to just wanting to finish the game out of pure love?
It was immediate.
Was immediate? Like,
yeah.
You didn't even get past the title screen, or you got stuck in Pallet Town?
I did not get stuck in Pallet Town. I mean, I guess I had the guide, so it's not like there are some cryptic stuff. So it's helpful to have as a 9 or 10-year-old to be able to kind of help navigate. I think Pokemon is one of the first games where I had the game, the guide, and I was able to follow the guide all the way through the game, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a confidence boost as a young gamer. That's like, oh, you can beat some of these games. I don't know. That's just my experience. I was never the strongest gamer, so I would play a lot, but not ever really finish anything. And this was one of the first ones that I finished all the way.
Awesome. How about you, Danny?
I literally got that game and just annihilated it because the anime came out at the same time. And I remember that I got you remember the first time where I was when I got my first Pikachu? I was at my auntie's house and I was so happy to get a Pikachu. I was like, yes, this is the greatest day of my life. Praise be the heavens. And I remember the challenges I had, like when I beat the Elite Four for the first time. It was all tense because I ran out of full restores. Now, I look back now and I want to slap my younger self. I was like, how the fuck did you struggle with this game? It's a piece of piss. How did you struggle? Easy. But back then I was like, oh my god, I must beat Gary, aka Blue. Must defeat him. Oh, the stress.
That brings me up to my real question. What did you name your rival? I named him
Gary.
Douche.
Gary.
We usually
it's Douche.
It was funny as a kid. We would my friends and I would name them after like kids in our class that we didn't like, or like had
Sam.
Right, yeah, name them me. This time around, I think there was a point in my life though where I wanted to stick to the story, and it's like, oh, my character is Ash and the other character is Gary or whatever. But I would always this time around, I think I named him Asshat. Yeah, I named him Douche, named him Dickhead, or whatever fits, like whatever insults fit in the number of characters that you're allowed. I will name him Little Fucker or whatever.
It's just because he comes off as an absolute asshat to begin with. That's why I was just like, well, your name is now Douche. So every time I ran into him, it was like, Douche would pop up and be like, Douche says, hey, do you want to have a poke battle? And I'm just like, Douche.
Yeah.
It's better if you put like a cunt. I learned this from Jason Crawley, my friend, and it says a cunt wants to battle.
Very awesome. Yeah.
Oh man, can't get away with that nowadays. Nintendo's too smart.
Yeah, they are. That's how you have to use the Aussie version of cunt, because they don't use the U, they use A. So you go cans, and you can put that.
Oh, good.
Oh, would you look at that? You Aussies beating the system.
Yeah, there we go.
did.
All right, so the game story basically unfolds. You start in Pallet Town. You're 10-year-old Ash. You get tasked by Professor Oak to go into the world and kind of fill out a Pokedex for him, because he's too lazy to do it on his own, and he probably wants to bang your mom while you're out of town.
He's definitely banging your mum.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely banging your mom. So through the story, you end up having to go get 8 gyms in total, or 8 badges, so you can face the Elite Four.
Yeah.
Yep.
And through the adventure, you have to collect Pokemon, raise them, level them up, get them into where you want, and all that kind of stuff. What did you guys think of the story? Like, how would you describe it, or how would you describe the good parts and the bad parts?
Story's weird for sure. Yeah. At the time, yeah, it's like this is. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, there's something different. It's new. I've never played a game like this, so I was all in. And again, having the anime with you alongside it makes it easier, because you can basically relate what's going on in the TV show to what's going on in the game. So you can fill in the blanks and go, oh yeah, Ash caught a Caterpie, I better catch a Caterpie and get a Butterfree and get a Pidgeot and do exactly the same. So having that alongside it was great. The only thing I was like, hang on, where's the Elite Four when Ash got to the championship? I was like, there was no championship in the game. I was like, you lied to me, Ash.
That was all for the Hollywood flair.
Yeah, definitely.
No,
yeah, the story's weird, because it's like, yeah, could you imagine sending your 10-year-old out to go basically catch animals and do like legal cockfights, and that's like what your entire world is based around? Like, what a weird.
That's basically the entire game is an illegal dog fighting ring.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
No,
all of
it's
society
insane.
Is based on it too.
Yeah, that's what's funnier. But
as a 10-year-old, it's cool, because it's like, well, this character looks, like me or is my age, and so it was very easy as a 10-year-old to kind of insert yourself into that world and live in it. All right.
Mom, I'm running away from home to go raise animals that I catch in balls.
Yeah.
How about you, Danny? Anything about that story that just makes you go, hey, this is probably something that in hindsight is not that great, or it's just perfect?
It is just cockfighting. There's no way around it. It is absolutely just cockfighting. It's like literally me waking up my dog and saying, right, dog, fight to the death. Go. There's no way around that. And people could say, oh, well, it's not real animals. They have dogs. Essentially, there are dogs in there. So I may as well just get my dog to go, right, let's go find a bird. Right, fight it. Use bite. Imagine you saw that in real life. Literally, it'd be terrifying. I don't get the Pokemon world be terrifying if you saw it in real life.
10-year-olds fucking running around with animals fighting other animals there, and then picking up the near dead corpse.
Yeah, it'd be the scariest thing ever. It's like, I'll just pick that up. It's either going to capture or I'm going to eat it.
Children of the Corn meets Michael Vick's dogfighting ring.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking. Danny, maybe you can answer this, but like canonically, it's a little bit murky in the beginning. There are some spots in the Game Boy game, the originals, where they mention real life areas. Like you go into the Cinnabar and you go to the the mansion, and there's different diaries that you can read, and it talks about going to like Costa Rica and finding Mew or something like that. Like they're referencing real parts of the world, and it's implied that the Pokemon universe is part of our globe, which is kind of strange. And then I think they've gone away from that a bit.
They have a bit.
Yep.
Well, if you think about the original games, they're based in Kanto. Like, they're meant to be Japan.
Right.
Kanto and Johto were meant to be Japan. They've kind of, differed away from that, but then each region has its own flair. So you definitely look like Sword and Shield. That's back in UK.
Yeah.
The new one, Scarlet and Violet, they're based in Spain. So they each have their own flair to them. But yeah, I think back in those times, they were a bit like, oh, fuck it, we'll just do what we want, because they could.
Yeah, and then what I was...
They could put whatever characters they want.
Yeah, and what I was getting at there then is there's actual real animals sometimes, and then there's Pokemon, and Pokemon seem to be different than animals, but then that kind of seems to go away in the later like versions of the game or the anime and stuff. So then I wonder, when they're eating stuff like eating meat, are they eating Pokemon?
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely.
You never go hungry there because you have these little balls of food on your belt.
Yeah, 100%. You are eating Pokemon, because I think in the anime, Ash is like looking at Magikarp and he's like, "Oh yeah, that'd be nice." There is no way that they just have, right, there's a pig here. It's not a Pokemon. We'll just eat it. No, they are definitely eating them. 100%.
Yeah, that's terrifying. That's like, there's so many like horrifying existential questions, and like the Pokemon are intelligent and they don't necessarily speak, but they say their own names when they speak. They seem to exhibit a higher intelligence than maybe like a dog or a cat, but definitely less than a person.
What does intelligence have to do with it? I mean, if they're made of beef, you eat them.
But yeah, it's just such a weird
disclaimer. Humans aren't made of beef, so I'm not going to eat a human, but I will eat a cow, even if it goes cow.
Well, that's the thing. I thought about this, like because a modern day cow has no idea what's going on. Like if you put a gun to its head, it's got no idea what's going on. But I'm pretty sure if you put a gun to a Pokemon cat, like a milk tank, it's gonna know what a gun is and be like absolutely shitting itself. And go, right, okay, it's gonna have. It's got conscience. It's got awareness. It's a sentient being. Like I'm sure if you show it a milk tank burger, it's not gonna go, "Oh, I wonder what that is." It's gonna know what that is.
Well, you got to think about it beyond that. Do you turn Geodude into like building material? Like some of these Pokemon are, they're made of actual elements of the like stereotypical RPG elements, like wood, fire, water, wind, rock, shadow, light, all that kind of stuff. Like, do you take a light Pokemon, you shove them into the roof of your house there for reading at night?
Yeah, there is that. In the newer generations, there's that tadpole one that looks like a light bulb. You could just stick that somewhere and turn the light on. Yeah.
Organic light bulbs.
Oh man, the possibilities.
No, I love it.
Did anyone ever watch the Flintstones when they were kids?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, so the Flintstones, they had some of the dinosaurs were there for like their shower and stuff like that. It's the same concept. Squirtle.
Yeah,
I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
Use water.
The mastodon that's my shower head is gonna watch me pull it in the shower.
Don't look at me.
Don't turn away.
Squirtle, look away.
I would hate to be Cloyster in this case because he looks like a vagina.
Well, the funny thing is, you say that. I think it was Generation 4. There was a couple, and there was a double battle, and one of them used a Cloyster. And what did the guy use? I definitely looked like a penis and a vagina. I was like, they knew what they were fucking doing. I can't remember what the penis was though, but they definitely knew what they were doing.
Penis man, insert.
Gross.
Okay, I missed a question here, but this is probably the one everybody's got burning on their mind. What's your starter? And how long until you abandon them?
Oh, Charmander. You don't abandon them. Danny
Squirtle.
Does, because
yeah,
because you're ideal.
I know, I abandon them when it comes to the competitive stuff.
Right.
It's Squirtle. When I start making a competitive team, Blastoise is gone. But at the time, Squirtle till I die.
Yeah, I went with Charmander there. Then I was reading a walkthrough, and it says Charmander's kind of like starting the game on hard mode because he's not very useful for the first bit of the game. Lessons learned. Misty kicked my ass. I had to go get myself, I think it was plant Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Plant.
Or something like that. I have no idea. It's
Girl,
all
plant.
friggin' Told you, this is the reason I'm asking the questions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just asking questions.
Just asking
fucking Tucker Carlson. All right.
yeah.
Well, what was your initial thoughts on the difficulty of the game? Did you find it like well balanced? I know we kind of laughed at that at the beginning, but well balanced, not well balanced. There's parts that are absolute bullshit. Everything is so great that it's all fluff and unicorns. Danny?
Looking back at it, I struggled probably just because of leveling more than anything else. But now I can play the game. I know what exactly is coming. I know what types I need. I know all the exploits, like how you can take the piss out of the game and just make it its bitch. Yeah. Because, say, for example, I laugh my head off that if you face a dragon Pokemon, so if you face Lance, he has the dragon Pokemon, so he has his Dragonairs and he has his Dragonite. But if you go in with a poison type, you win. You just win because he'll just use agility, and there's no way you can get around that. So if you can exploit the game like that, it's hilarious. But when looking back at difficult, yeah. So what? Okay, to explain that little glitch.
Yeah.
So
explain
the
that
AI reads it that the AI reads the game that it's a poison type. So I must use a move that's super effective against it. Dragonite and Dragonair has agility, which is a psychic move back then, and so they would use a psychic move, thinking, okay, it's a poison type, but it doesn't do anything. So you can sit there and go, "Maha, I win!" So there are certain Pokemon that fall into that category and will use that little exploit. Not all of them, but some of them will. So if you can know which ones do it, it makes it very easy when you do speed running and Nuzlocke and things like that.
Oh, that's
when
funny.
It comes to difficulty, look, the only spike I thought I had in the game was that second gym. Because you have Staryu and then Starmie, and Starmie hits like a fucking truck.
Oh, Starmie can go fuck itself.
When it hits a bubble beam.
Yeah, Misty's Starmie is tough. And Recover.
Yeah, it's because it's got both of them to play with. I think that, for me, that was the only difficulty spike. But then, Kid Me had fun on the Elite Four because I wasn't the right level. So when you go to fight Blue, or Gary, it made it very difficult because his Pokemon are like the mid-60s, and you're like, mine around the level 40s, I'm going to be in trouble. I might have just scraped through with Lance, I ain't scraping through this one. And because his Pokemon cover all types, where you can kind of prepare for the Elite Four with, okay, I'm fighting Lance, I need Articuno because it's just ice. Doesn't work when you're playing Gary because / Blue, because he has all types. He covers all your weaknesses. So if you're not at the right level, you fucked.
Yeah. Danny, do you play shift or set style? I know you can go into the options and you can make the game a little bit more difficult by using set style, which doesn't allow you to change Pokemon out when your opponent is about to send something else out. So something that makes the game easier is that it tells you what Pokemon your opponent is going to send out and then allows you to change. So you can always have the advantage.
Yeah, as a kid, I use Switch. As a kid, I use Switch. Now I just put set. Now I'm like, fuck it. Make it a bit more difficult. So I make it a little bit more fun. And, when you're playing the main story of Pokemon, I can kind of breeze through it. It's only been the new one, Scarlet and Violet, that it was actually a bit of a challenge because of the idea you could go absolutely anywhere. So the levels are a bit all over the place. Whereas Red, Blue, and Yellow and every other game prior, you start at level 5 and the opponents you fight around about that. And the game kind of goes with you, but not in Scarlet and Violet. So I was like, oh shit, this is actually be quite difficult. But yeah, I just keep it on set, and then that way it just makes it fun and quicker as well. So I'm not pressing A.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, hurry it along, please.
I do like that you can. There are ways. I mean, the game itself is very basic. It can be very easy, very grindy if you want to play it that way and just have like a relaxing experience, which is what I did on this playthrough of Blue most recently. But there are ways, like, I mean, you've mentioned Nuzlocke a couple times. We've just talked about, using set. There's ways that you can, look up to make the gameplay a little harder, or like do little challenges and stuff. Like your absolutely ridiculous Magikarp challenge on Let's Go Pikachu. That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it was at the time. I was like, oh, let's have some fun. This will be interesting. No, it was not.
Yeah,
I instantly regret that decision.
I can't imagine. Sorry, Brian. I don't know if I got off topic, but I just I was interested in
all to stimulate conversation.
Yeah, you might have a Nuzlocke like question further down the line. If you don't, then we should probably discuss Nuzlocke a little bit, because I've never done one, and Danny, I'm assuming you've done a bunch.
Yeah. So what a Nuzlocke is, it is based off Locke from Lost.
Mm-hmm.
And Nuzleaf. So
yes.
There's a weird, that's how they kind of came with the name of it. I don't know why, but it did that. It's a very, very strange thing. So what the idea is that it kind of brings in the permadeath system from Fire Emblem. So every time you go to a new area or a new route, you can catch the first Pokemon that you see. So for example, you get your starter, that's all, and you can only use that. You go into Route 1 and you come across a Pidgey. Well, you can catch the Pidgey and the Pidgey only now. If you kill it, that's it. You can't catch it. That you can't catch anymore. But once you've got the Pidgey, it's part of your party. And then you can go to Viridian Forest. Okay, so you come across a Metapod. Okay, so your Metapod is your Pokemon that you choose. You can't now catch a Pikachu. That's it. You've only got a Metapod. And you can only use those Pokemon in battle. So once it faints, so once Metapod faints, it goes in the box, and you can never reclaim it. So that kind of permadeath thing. And I love that system. I think it's great. So they made further restrictions where you could go to a gym, and so say Brock's highest Pokemon is his Onix, which I think is at level 10. Mm-hmm. You can't go past level 10 at any point in that, but so any point prior. So you've got to go in at level 10 as the highest you can do.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never done it that way, but I can see it being a challenge. The only drawback would be like you're never gonna have any sort of like you're never gonna get any of the good Pokemon in your. You're gonna end up with the scrubs because you're gonna have your starter, which is gonna be your best, and then if you can only pick the first or catch the first one from each area you get into, you know your options are pretty limited because they're not gonna give you the Pikachu.
I had 52 Pidgeys.
Yeah, but you can still, like a Pidgeot will still do damage.
Oh yeah,
If you use a Pidgeot can be really good. A Rattata Rattacate can be really good if you know what you're doing with it. Butterfree can be handy because it's got the ability to put things to sleep. So that's handy, especially in Generation 1, because that mechanic was broken, the sleep mechanic. So so again, we can go to broken mechanics later on. But so every Pokemon can be used, and it makes you use new strategies you've never thought of before. And again, if you know the game, you know how to glitch it, especially like with things like the badge boost glitch, you can get around it and then just kick ass, basically.
Man, badge boost. You're mentioning glitches that like I either haven't thought of in a long time or never heard of. There's probably stuff in this game that I've not even touched.
So the badge boost. So the badge boost glitch, because people will be like, "What the fuck's that?" So when you beat certain gym leaders, they give you a boost in your stats. I think I'm not sure if Brock's one. There is Blaine. There's Sabrina's one.
Sabrina's definitely one.
Yes, it could be for your attack, defense, special, which that's a problem. The special stat is a problem, and speed. So what was meant to be is that you'd get a small boost. However, what actually happens is if you use any move which affects your stats in any way. So if you use agility and your speed goes up twice, or the opponent uses Leer and is meant to lower your defense, it actually doesn't. It actually raises all your stats if you've got all the badges. And so if you use like I don't know agility 3 times, you can't max your speed out anymore, but your attack, defense, and special would have gone up 3 stages.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's like that shouldn't have happened. Or not full 3 stages, but it goes up in percentages like that. That shouldn't have happened. And it's like you can really break the game doing this, but then it disappears once you level up. So once you've hit that, ding, you can't. All your stats go back to 0, apart from the one you would have boosted properly. So agility, that would have gone up. So how many that stays as it is, but the ones you got from the badge boost glitch, yeah, they would disappear. So if you know what you're doing, you can absolutely destroy and abuse the game so quickly. It's hilarious. I love it.
That's interesting. It's always so interesting to me because, like, I mean, we've all probably, I'm assuming if you're a fan of the show or you're listening to our show or any of these retro gaming podcasts, you've probably at least played a Pokemon game, even if it's not one of these original cartridges. But, like, man, there's so much stuff, and everything Danny just mentioned is going on in the background in the code of the game, is where all these percentages and things exist. And so, yeah, you're doing these exploits, but it's all invisible to you, pretty much. Like, you just know that, you do XYZ and you use this move and this thing will happen, but it doesn't tell you that or show you that. Just like there's so many glitches, like good ones, like I found out later on, like the idea, because people used to say you could get Mew. So Mew was 151, and the first time I got Mew was actually from an event in London, London or Manchester. However, you could actually get Mew legitimately. Well, I say legitimately. He was on the cartridge. He was in the game. You could use a glitch and get Mew before you got to Misty. Oh, crazy. I gotta look that one up because I don't think I ever did that.
Yep.
So
everyone knows about the Missing No one. Missing No is the glitch that we all found about, the item duplication one.
Yeah.
But if you do use that, it's a fun one, and everyone knows if you've used it, because if you go to your Hall of Fame is messed up on the computer. But if you do that, there is a real risk you can destroy your computer, so they can get the game erased. So it's the most dangerous glitch out there, but yet the prize you can get is ridiculous. But you can fight Professor Oak. He's the secret final boss.
Really?
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that from your video. I never knew that either until I watched your retrospective video. That's incredible.
This secret glitch.
Yeah.
Again, so he must have been in the game, and he is the higher level than Blue. And you can, it's a whole load of things. It's to do with, you've got to have a certain type of Mewtwo. Oh man, it's wacky. The amount of stuff to get to that stage to make that glitch work. But once you get it to work, it's like, hey-o, this is awesome. And then you fight Professor Oak legitimately. It's like, this is so cool.
Stop fucking my mom.
Yeah. But doesn't Professor Oak have whichever Pokemon is left over from the table? Like, Ash takes one, and so he's just got a bunch of different.
No, there's
stuff.
a particular point in the glitch outside of Fuchsia City where it's to do with I can't remember. You do a certain stat boosting move, and the amount of times you do that stat boosting move will dictate who he has as his final Pokemon.
That's so crazy. Like, this is the kind of stuff that makes this game a true classic, and in that,
But
you get an original.
You're not asking the real question, Sam.
Yeah.
You're not asking the real question. What happens to the third Pokemon then? Is it incinerated? Is it lunch?
It just sits there for the rest of the time. It's lunch.
It does.
Turtle
it actually
soup.
does sit there. Yeah. Turtle soup. It actually
like
sits there for the rest of the game. But
Yeah.
it definitely gets eaten.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that was way more info than I ever expected to find out on this shitty podcast, but that was fantastic. But all right, let's
we gotta bring in a ringer if we want to learn anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start bringing in Danny here for every Pokemon episode, so we learn some new crap.
Oh, absolutely.
I can just sit back the whole time. I don't think I talk for about a good 5 minutes there.
We gotta do
I know my Pokemon shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's talk about the gyms and the badges so we can get back back within our timing, and this is not a 3-hour episode. It's not Retro Hangover. We don't do 3-hour episodes.
And we just talk about glitches, and that's it. But I will. One last thing on the glitches is, 13, 12, 11, 13-year-old Sam really threw caution to the wind if you can fuck up your cartridge using the glitch exploit, because we use that quite a bit. And we also did the thing where you trade Pokemon and turn it off and duplicate.
Yes, the cloning. Dangerous as fuck, but you can do it.
Yeah, we did that all the time.
Jesus Christ, I didn't even have friends to trade with.
Oh.
No, I don't know. By the time I started playing Pokemon there, everybody I knew who played video games had already moved on with life, and the other ones who were around me still thought Pokemon was just like a kid's thing because it came with a cartoon. So you know what it is. When you're an older teenager, there, everybody wants to be cool and start drinking and having sex with girls and stuff, and you're sitting there playing Pokemon Yellow.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was
so
pretty
the only
much what I
pussy
did.
I was playing with was Meowth.
Well said, Dan.
Oh, nice.
Jesus Christ. Great, I love it. Let's get into the gyms here. There's 8 gyms in total, 8 badges. You said the badges, some of them actually boost your stats. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? Because it's news to me.
Yeah, so they give you a little bit of a small boost. It's 4 of them do it. So I can't remember which ones they are. Sabrina's definitely one. Blaine's definitely one. And yeah, it's like a slight little boost, and then that's when the fun begins with the glitching. But yeah, it's to kind of like be that little bit of a reward. But I loved it. Like, I love the gym leaders. I love the idea of just going in, fighting the crap out of gym leaders' little minions, and then going straight in. I hate the fact that they do challenges now. Bullshit to that. Just give me my original gyms. And that's my bread and butter. That's all I ever want. I don't want anything else. I want to walk in and fight topless Brock. I love it.
Yeah, the only
Brock with the old rock muscles.
the only ones in the there were some gyms that had kind of challenges in this one. Like you could bypass the trainers in Blaine's gym by answering the trivia questions. I think you could bypass if you were in Sabrina's gym. It has like that kind of puzzle where you have to do all those little warp squares. You can bypass the trainers in there, but I always made sure that I went through the gyms and fought all the trainers because that's where you got the best XP.
Yeah, you get better experience fighting against trainers rather than wild Pokemon. So that's the best thing to do it. So the only dodgy one I hated was Lieutenant Surge's one, where you have to go through bins and find a secret switch, and then when you've got the first one, the second one is going to either be right. It's going to be right next to it, but it's always a game of chance, and if you get it wrong, you've got to restart the thing again. It's like, for fuck's sake, he's making me put his hands in the bin. I get he's a paranoid fuck, but there could be needles and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure that one sucks. You could potentially be at that one for quite some time if you don't pick the right trash bin that the other switch is in.
Yeah. The only one I can remember is obviously Brock and Misty, and the thing I didn't like is the amount of trainers that just stood outside of the cities when you're walking. A great way to get experience, but for me it was constantly fight one, win, go back, heal Pokemon, fight second one, win, and it was kind of eating into my time. Like, it was more labor intensive to go out and fight them and then back. And same with the gyms. Go into the gym, fight the gym lackey there, go back, heal, fight the next one, go back, heal. I found it very tedious.
See, that's the thing. There's 2 things there. 1, that's why you go buy potions. And 2, I am so strong, I don't need to go back. I will just annihilate everyone in this bath. I don't need fucking healing.
See, as somebody who played the game as, the developers intended, without every glitch under the sun,
excuse
the game
me,
does have a challenge.
Excuse me, I play this game legit. When I do these games, if I can, I do them legitimately, and I know the best ways to get through. Like, I don't need to fight that trainer. Like, I can do Rock Tunnel without even a map. Like, fuck me, I can do that shit blind.
Oh yeah,
I've done that. Ugh. Like, who needs Flash? Fuck that. I'll just go through and do it myself. Like,
oh yeah,
don't even. Somebody who's only ever played these games once in my life, once or twice through Pokemon Yellow. So when I go back to it 20-some-odd years later, no, it is fresh. Like, I remember some of the game. I remember some of the mechanics. I remember things like the bicycle. I remember the the rare candy to level people up, all that kind of stuff. You had to get your PP up for some reason. That seemed a little sick. But, it's just stuff like that. But playing it again, I don't know all the secrets. I don't know all the little tricks. I don't know what best Pokemon to use against whatever. I don't know the matchups. So for me, it was very I used Pidgey a lot because he had this sandstorm that would cause him to have less accuracy, and if I use Sandstorm enough, the opponent wouldn't actually hit me, and then I could take whatever Pokemon I had, even one that was 5 levels down, and chop them apart 1 hit point at a time. That's how I beat a lot of fights.
And that was the sand attack move. Oh god, accuracy was so fucked up back then.
Oh
because the opponent would never switch their Pokemon. So if you could just keep using it, you just go, haha. And there's a technique where people hate, and they use Chansey. And Chansey will literally just use minimize. And then it'll use minimize. It'll have an item called the Everstone, I think it's called, which basically ups their defense. And yeah, because you haven't evolved it into Blissey, and you just basically use Toxic and sit there going, mah.
Yeah, there's ways that you can set it up
bastard.
and just like totally slowly kill your opponent and just sit there and there's nothing they can do.
No, and that's like, I hate you
Frustrating
so
as fuck.
But yeah, it's like you mentioned is that when you're at the lowest point, and it's like, shit, throw any Pokemon, just do 1 damage, just do 1.
Yeah, land a hit
there's-
for crying out loud.
Yeah, when I went to fight Misty there, I pulled out Charizard, and I'm like, well, shit, I know exactly how this is going to work out, because, water versus fire, it's basically like pissing on a campfire there. It's going to put it out. So I got completely wiped out with my best Pokemon, so I went through the entire list, and the first Pokemon she has, the Star something?
Staryu.
Staryu just killed me, completely killed me, never even made it to Starmie. Yeah. So,
Oh no.
So I talked to Sam. Sam told me what I had to do, and I was going to do that. And then that's when I started up my game again, and the save file was gone.
Ugh, that's the worst. Were you playing on a ROM? Did you emulate?
Yeah, it was an emulated ROM. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. How's that work? I mean, I've had it to where the battery save in the cartridge doesn't work anymore, but man, that sucks.
Oh, I've had loads of games back in the day, the red, blue, and yellow. Their games have been corrupted and disappeared, and I've got, and I wanted to cry. It's like the worst feeling in the world having a game that corrupts. But
Yeah.
now, I've got so many Pokemon saved up from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Like literally, when those games came out, they've been with me all the way, and I've still got them in my bank. Like,
Yeah,
they're
I
never
was
going
wondering
anywhere.
that. I was wondering that because you could take a Pokemon from the original 97 or 98, whenever it came out, game, and trade it up through the series of games up to the current. Couldn't you? Or is there a point where it doesn't cross over anymore?
Yes, you can. Gold and silver can trade. Gold, silver, crystal, red, blue, and yellow can trade with each other. That's it.
Oh,
Can't
but
go
you
forward from that point.
You
It's
can't go forward from
Ruby,
there.
Sapphire,
Damn.
Emerald, upwards.
Yeah.
So generation 3 upwards, you can do it.
Oh fuck! I was gonna say like that would be so cool if because now they have the Pokemon Home service where you can bank Pokemon from your games and keep
Those
them
you
in
can.
like a cloud save.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the ones that were on the bank service when they did red, blue, and yellow, gold, silver, crystal on the 3DS, those can transfer forward. Yes, they can. But our original red, blue, and yellow, no, they'll all be dead anyway because of the battery save. Oh, rest in peace. But no, there was no way to transfer them.
Oh man, it was funny. I was always I didn't know the ins and outs of that system, but I was like, man, wouldn't that be cool if you could take your original game and take your first starter ever and nope, it's digitally died.
Yeah, it is gone. It is
Yeah.
bye-bye.
That's sad.
No, that always sucks with everything. I mean, I have a few stories about me fucking over my brother's save files there, so
Yeah.
I don't
a
understand myself what it's like, but I've been punched enough, I get the pain.
That's a sin doing that. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, he got his Final Fantasy IV characters all up to level 99, each and every one of them. They were maxed to the tits, and I erased the save file.
That's a dick move. That's outrageous.
Not on purpose. I was young, and I was, probably drunk. I was in my teens, not even. I was probably 10. So
but still drunk.
I was probably
right?
really drunk, yeah. I'm going to blame it on my alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so losing your save file, I've had it a couple of times. PlayStation memory cards corrupt and stuff like that, and you're halfway through a great game, and you lose that motivation to restart. That's my problem, is if I lose a save game, to restart is death for me for the next foreseeable future. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I definitely when I lose a file like that, I definitely don't. Which is kind of insane that I never corrupted my Game Boy games with how much we were using the exploits as kids. But man, you're playing with fire. But yeah, if I lose,
playing with fire back then,
yeah, losing a save file definitely doesn't make me want to like jump right back in and do all that grinding and all that leveling up again immediately necessarily. I definitely need a cooling off period before I jump back into it.
Yeah. Let's move it on here real quick. So, how do you think this game compares to the future games? Is this something that every Pokemon fan must play, or do you think he can start somewhere else and still get the same feeling of the game?
No, I think you should play it. If you can accept the jank, accept that there are things that aren't right, like the special stat is broken in this game.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's combined. So Pokemon like Chansey could be absolutely gods. Like the move Amnesia's broken, the sleep mechanics are broken. If you can accept Rap's broken, if you can
Rap
accept
is
all that,
fucking ridiculous.
You can have a Dragonite, and basically a Dragonite use agility, one agility, and it's faster than any Pokemon in the game, and then just use Rap, and then you win. But if you can accept all that shit, then it's still fun to go back and see the roots. Yes, the artwork, some of the Pokemon's artwork in Generation 1 is god ugly, kill it with fire.
Yeah.
But for me, as a purist, I'm like, just go play Gen 1, just see its roots. It's still a playable game.
It's very fun.
The concept hasn't changed. The core mechanics have never changed to the whole thing of getting to a random battle, attack, switch, run, item hasn't changed. So just, no one can, this is unplayable. No, it's not. It's exactly the same game. It's just the characters don't move, so it's fine.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time playing it this time around, and I'm biased because it's one of my favorite games of all time. But yeah, it's worth playing. Like if you haven't played Gen 1 original Pokemon and you either have the means to grab a copy of it for a Game Boy or you have the means to emulate it, it's definitely worth playing. It's just a fun time. It's obviously it's grindy, and we talked about this when we did Final Fantasy 3, but the end game, if you're not using like some of the exploits and you're just taking a party and leveling them up, there is a bit of a jump between the last gym and the Elite Four that you should probably get to around level 55 or 60. So there's going to be some grinding at the end of it, but I mean, throw a show on and grind your Pokemon. That's what I was doing, and I still had a great time with it.
Yeah, great time. And then your reward at the end of it is you go into the Cerulean Cave and you can go get Mewtwo.
Hell yeah. And the Pokemon in Cerulean Cave are like, if you get to a point where you want to level up more of your Pokemon and, create a team to go battle with, nowadays it doesn't really exist, but link cable battles and whatnot. Yeah, that's a great place to go and grind. Like those Pokemon are the strongest in the game.
You could, but you're actually better off going the Elite Four.
Oh yeah, or replay the Elite Four. That was one thing that I think they did right in this game and expanded on in later games, where you could like go back through and challenge the gym leaders again. You can't do it in the first red and blue, but you can definitely go back and fight the Elite Four as many times as you want for experience points.
It kind of makes sense. It's not like you're killing the gym leaders, so.
Right.
Hang on. Whoa. Take a step back. Yes, you can fight the gym leaders again.
And
you, Sam.
In red and blue?
Yeah.
All right, I got my Game Boy here. I'm going to validate this. I don't think I've ever done this before. Oh, no. Hold on.
Of course you can.
I'm in Cerulean Cave.
Jesus.
I might not be able to get out of the cave quickly. I'm gonna check this out, but I don't think I've ever gone back and talked to like Brock or Misty or whoever.
You can't fight the gym. Sorry, you can't fight the gym leaders. Sorry, you can't fight the gym leaders, but you can fight the Elite Four.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I always knew you could go back and fight the Elite Four. Yeah, but I'm saying in like
apologies then.
No, in I don't know if it's let's talk about how Fire Red and Leaf Green are like the perfect remakes. That is I would call that the definitive way to play this version of the game. But if you do want to go back and play the original and experience all the goofiness and the jank and whatever, then yes, by all means play the original. But I'd say that the GBA games are the best. Like that Gen 3 art style and, music and everything.
Are those games still 151 Pokemon, or did they kind of mix in the next generation?
They are 151, I
believe
think, until you get to the certain islands, but you can transfer any game from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald into there.
Yeah, I think the Pokedex was expanded, and there was a bit of an end game that there's like a separate set of like 4 islands or something like that. It's been a while since I played those, but I played the shit out of those.
So it's original to the point.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Hold on. I had a few questions knocking around in my head. I know, Brian, you put some on the sheet here, but I had some good ones, I think. What is I think this one might be on there, but what's your favorite generation or your favorite games in the series, Danny?
I have always loved Red, Blue, and Yellow. They'll always be special to my heart. Pokemon, if after that, it would probably be either Crystal. Crystal's a great game. Then the Heart Gold, Soul Silver remakes, or Pokemon Platinum. I think Pokemon Platinum is a fantastic game. I think that's Pokemon Platinum, or should say Diamond Pearl, is when the games actually fixed themselves. With a lot of the mechanics got fixed. So for those people who are probably screaming at me, going, "Why haven't you mentioned this?" The special stat got sorted when it came to Generation 2. So they split special up into special attack and special defense.
Right, yeah.
But the main thing they sorted out with the main game is like fire moves in the originals for the first few generations were just special attacks, whereas fighting moves were always physical attacks.
Right, yep.
They sorted that out when it came to Generation 4, where you could have a fire punch was a fire move, but it was actually a physical move rather than a special move. So that's when kind of they fixed a lot of the problems with the mechanics, and then it was kind of perfect. So I love Generation 4 because it sorted it all out. But when you look at Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl are very, very bare bones, like very bare bones, whereas Platinum is like the definitive edition. So Platinum, I think, is my favorite Pokemon game because it's so encompassing and there's so much shit to do. It's great. And so same with Heart Gold, Soul Silver as well. There's so much shit to do, which is great.
Cool. Yeah, I remember now, like, having played some of the games on the Switch, I made note of the fact that there were fire moves that were physical or water moves that were physical versus special type. And I was like, oh, good. That adds another layer to the strategy of, how you're planning your party and such.
We've had Pokemon like Hitmonchan in the original had Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, but they were useless because they were special moves.
Yeah,
but they were special moves back in Generation 1, 2, 3. So Hitmonchan is using a special move when he's a physical Pokemon. So he needed those moves to be physical. If those moves were physical back in the day, Hitmonchan actually might have been quite viable, but he wasn't. So it was like, this is a bit crap.
Yeah, Hitmonchan is bad. Hitmonchan is not a good Pokemon in Gen 1. Well, if you're using the Fire Punch and that stuff. I mean, otherwise, for physical attacks is fine, but then just pick Hitmonlee because Hitmonlee is awesome.
Hitmonlee is better because it has physical moves that are actually used, and it gets a type advantage because he's using fighting moves.
That's right. Yeah, I picked Hitmonlee and used it quite a bit this time. I'd say for my favorite games in the series, there's a big gap in the DS that I'm working to fill right now, but I think Generation 1, obviously, just because it's the original, but Gen 2, so Gold and Silver and Crystal, for me, I had just reacquired a copy of Silver, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it because not only did it expand on the first game, but there's that whole second quest afterwards. So you beat the game and then you get to go back to an abbreviated version of Kanto and do another gym challenge. It's just it's incredible that they basically added a whole nother game into the game. I mean, it's not as fleshed out as the original Kanto, but it has the same general shape as I remember, and you can go fight all the gym leaders.
Yeah, you can.
That's insane. It's the best end game, or the best I don't know what you would call it. additional quest or end game of just about any game that I can think of.
Yeah, it was a great surprise. Like, I was like, holy shit, that you're in Kanto, holy shit.
Yeah,
but
that
then you
blew my
realize
mind.
as an adult, it's actually very, very small. But again,
Yeah.
in Gold and Silver, the developers in Game Freak actually didn't realize. They thought, this is it. We're not getting a third game, so throw everything they can into the second game, which they did. And you got to remember, the game's only going to be quite limited on the cartridge side, so they couldn't do as much as, add like 2 whole new worlds. They might not
Right.
have been able to do it. So I was just grateful we got what we got.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a whole nother set of gym challenges. Even if it wasn't a world to explore, you could definitely go fight the gym leaders, and then you go fight yourself from the first game as like the
which is
boss
cool.
of that, which is amazing. And then I also would say Gen 3 added a lot of things that I liked, but this was kind of where I was starting to tail off, and I put video games down for a while actually, but Fire Red and Leaf Green were what I played a lot in high school when I was still like, well, I don't really like this anymore, but I still really fucking like this. So I would be playing Leaf Green a ton, and added a lot of depth to it that I think was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, any Pokemon game, especially like Heart. Yeah, and I was always Day Dot. Let's get it first straight away. And the Fire Red, Leaf Green were perfect versions. They used the Gen 3 physics, Gen 3 models, and it just worked.
Yes.
It was great.
It was so
I was
good.
like, what a way to do this game. And yeah, Fire Red, Leaf Green's a fantastic game.
Oh, and they added the Versus Finder, so you could.
Yep.
It made grinding a lot easier because you could rebattle the trainers, and then it had the little meter on the bottom, so you could tell like without going into your menus how close you were to leveling up. And just like so many awesome additions and improvements that I think make that a really fun way to play the game if you've never played it before.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just gonna sit back here and let
Yeah.
you guys nerd out.
Brian, you sit in the
I
corner.
really
We're gonna.
Yeah, I got nothing to add. I'm like the guy at the party holding my drink there, just talking to nobody in the corner.
Just
Yeah.
go, yep.
This is why I had no friends. Is because I'm a Pokemon Yellow guy in a world of Blue and Red.
Honestly, Brian, I think
Yellow.
when
Go
we
on,
cover
Sam.
a Pokemon game next, we should either do like Gen 2 Gold and Silver, or we should talk about revisit this and do like the GBA games, because I think you'd really enjoy them.
Well, I would have enjoyed this game without my save file corrupting, but
Yeah, that's true.
enough about that. I've kind of bitched about it enough. Let's get to wrapping this up. So I have a few more questions here, really quick answers if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, lightning round.
Yeah, lightning round. So, are you involved in any Pokemon-related activities outside, such as the trading card games or watching Ash take 25 years to finally win and still be 10?
I collect the trading card. I collect boxes of the trading card game, and I just have them sat here and not opening them. That'll be my daughter's inheritance when she's older.
Nice.
So that's one thing I do. I used to play competitively, but don't anymore because I haven't got the time.
Yeah,
Not in the trading card game, in the main game.
Yeah, trading card games can eat up your time, and
Yeah.
so can these RPGs. Like, they're, 25, 30 hours each?
Yeah,
Give or
it's
take.
If that,
silly.
yeah. If you take time
Unless
to grind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're Danny and know every glitch, then it's about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've done it as quick as I can. I've done like a Mewtwo speed run or something like that. Like how fast can I do it with a Snorlax? I've done that before.
Awesome. All right, so in your opinions, what do you think made Pokemon become such a global phenomenon? What is it about fighting cute little animals that made kids just go, oh my god, that's so much fun, and why don't we send our cats after each other?
Man, I don't know.
Purge, isn't it?
The Purge. I think
it's like the Purge. It's like the Purge because it's basically we all want to cockfight. All the cockfight animals. Everyone's like that inner desire, let our animals fight, but you can't do it. But the Purge, one day of the year you can do it. But the game's like, oh yeah, look, let us do it. So it's like letting in that innocent, that child of us is like, let things fight and die. But it's completely legal because it's a video game.
I'm gonna
Right.
posit an alternative. I would say that I just think it was like right place, right time. The artwork was creative and imaginative, and just kind of captured our imagination. And it was just like I mean, those collectathon platformer games were popular at the time too. It's just like we love collecting shit, and this gave us a way to put something in our pocket and we could play, during downtime, or go out of our way to play it. But like in a car ride, you could play this and you could try to catch as many as you could. You could raise them and level them up. Tamagotchis were big at the time too. This was just perfect time and place for that sort of thing to come about, and I don't think we've ever looked back.
Yeah.
No, I think because you had the Game Boy as it was kind of starting to dwindle a little bit in
Yeah.
popularity. And this came in, and it was the idea of the trade of that link cable, the ability to trade, and the ability to battle your friends. That was the unique little thing that they had, where you can actually share what you had and show your friends and show your family, because that wasn't main. I can't think of other games that did that. It actually made the link cable worthwhile. You had to have a link cable, so you had to have trade with other people. That was the thing that got people going, because the idea you can go mix with other players. You need to mix with other players so you can get all 151. It can't, 150. It couldn't be done otherwise. And the ability to use your link cable, as I said, fight people, trade with people, that was the little thing. I think if they didn't have that option, I think if ever they could just stay in one game, it may not have been as big as it was. But also having the anime to go alongside it as well, especially in the West, helped push it, because it was, we hadn't, anime was still still growing. The Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing had started to push it, but the Pokemon anime helped push it dramatically.
I mean, I still remember Sailor Moon being good for anime back then, because it was one of the only things that was on in the anime style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of them.
There wasn't much.
I would say I'll make a bold statement. Maybe it won't be bold, but I don't think handheld gaming is as popular or where it is today without Pokemon revitalizing the Game Boy and making it a...
Oh no, I probably agree with that.
Yeah,
because that was the reason you had a Game Boy, was for Pokemon, and it shows, because it's the best-selling game ever.
Yeah, we don't have the DS, we don't have the Switch, we don't have like PlayStation trying to jump in and make the PSP or the Vita, the Steam Deck. Like, we don't have this emphasis on handheld gaming or gaming on the go without Pokemon's influence.
I'd say that is a bold statement, because I don't think Pokemon is what was a make or break for the Game Boy, considering how popular it was. Like, when I was a kid, the original Game Boy was what everybody had to have. If you had a Nintendo, you had to have a Game Boy. So it was popular before Pokemon came out. It just kind of rode that popularity. And of course, Nintendo was selling consoles or handheld consoles more than they were selling home consoles, so they kind of stuck with the handheld for the longest time.
Yeah, but by the mid to late 90s, though, I don't think the Game Boy was doing gangbusters until Pokemon came back, and Pokemon came in and brought it back. So I don't know. Maybe it would have fizzled out. That would be an interesting like alternate history to like go back and like erase Pokemon from history and see what would have been different about gaming.
Please don't do that.
No, yeah, I don't want to do it. Don't take my Pikachu from me.
Yeah, don't take my Pikachu. Leave my Onix and Voltorbs alone.
Yeah.
Everything starts shifting. Next thing you know, we're talking about Digimon.
Yeah. Oh my God. Would that be it? Would that have been it?
No, Digimon was out first.
Yeah, Digimon would have taken over. Digimon's not as cool.
Here's my bold statement. Digimon was better than Pokemon cartoon-wise.
Ooh. Some elements. I think when Pokemon just got on with battles, it was fun. Digimon was great because Digimon actually had a fucking plot.
Yes, that's why it was better, and I'm a very story-driven person. Final question before we get into the wrapping up here. Yes or no, if we've discussed people eat Pokemon and we fight with Pokemon, does that technically make a Pokemon battle a food fight?
Yes.
Yes, I agree, because if you go by the manga version, they kill each other.
Those
sliced a
Yeah.
Scyther sliced an Arbok in half. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, those mangas were brutal. I think I had some of those, like, I think Viz Comics distributed them here in the U.S. And early on, like, at the very beginning of Pokemania, I had some of the toys and some of the comics and stuff, and those comics were pretty violent.
Mm-hmm.
And weirdly horny.
Weirdly horny. Like,
well, it's
with
like
the Pokemon or the people? Or
no, the people.
on the
It's always like ogling like Misty and Officer Jenny and Nurse Joy and.
Oh, that's
Oh
just.
yeah, they
Brock.
had a good old perv.
Yeah, and well, even in I mean, it's creepy nowadays, but you go back and watch the original like Indigo League Pokemon, and it's like Brock is always like, "Oh, are you related to the other Officer Jennies?" Like getting all.
Yeah, he's a sex offender. Though.
He is. Yeah, he is pretty.
He's on a list. I guarantee you Brock is on a fucking list.
Yep.
He's a
and
dangerous
he is not allowed to
Brock.
go around certain people. Like, he's not allowed in Pallet Town anymore because of Ash's mom. Restraining order.
Yeah, but she's probably a bit fit though, isn't it? Like, yeah.
All right. So we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna get into the final thoughts. Of course, we're gonna let Danny go first as he is our guest, and then after we get our thoughts in, we will score the game out of 10. Danny, positives, negatives, and anything unforgivable. What's your final thoughts on Pokemon?
I love Pokemon. I owe Pokemon Red and Blue, Yellow a lot to my childhood, to where my direction is in its life and the influence. Like, for fuck's sake, I've just looked down. I've got Pikachu pajamas on, for Christ's sake. I'm actually wearing that now. So have I got Pokemon? I have Pokemon socks on as well. I've got Ultra Ball socks on. So Pokemon is huge in my life. There is no way around that. It's been a huge influence, and you know, for my daughter to now start being able to name Pokemon, it's cute as well. And yeah, there are flaws. There are things that are bad. There are things that are good. Like, I wanted to run over to our other podcast that we know, the Retro Hango podcast, when they did King of Games, and they killed it off, eliminated it straight away. So get fucked.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, guys.
Fucking you horrible people. But look, is this the perfect game? No. Is this glitch ridden? Yes. Is it funny glitches? Yes.
Oh yeah.
But I love it. I still love it. I'll still play it today the way it's meant to be, glitches and all, and problems it had. And it's great. It's literally it's my comfort food, and I'll never get bored of it, because it's always nice to have that video game where you can just jump back into and not get bored, like your Super Marios, your Sonics, your Crashes. And this is one of mine. I could jump back into this, play it for a few hours, and I've had so much fun doing it. And because there's 150 Pokemon, you can make the adventure how you want to make it. Want to do it with just a Zubat? Yeah, have fun. Although you're a bit of a dick if you do that. But you can do it however you want. Play with an Onix. You play with an Onix, just don't do it in public. But it's the game you want, and I love it. And I always will, and I'm always grateful to Pokemon. So yeah, I know I'm very biased, but hey ho, that is what it is.
Sam?
Yeah, I agree. Just playing it, I have not played the originals in a long time, and I had such a blast. I mean, I've been playing it for months here and there, picking it up and playing through it, and just finished it last night, beating the Elite Four. It was pure comfort, and I'm looking forward to either firing up Yellow next or looking at what's next in my collection, picking up Silver, going back to Leaf Green. I mean, there's so many possibilities, and like Danny said, just even picking up the same game and restarting it, you can do it completely different. You can try a different challenge. There's Nuzlocke that we talked about, different ways to play the game, different ways to make it more difficult. It is a little bit manual. I mean, it's not like you can pull up settings and change the difficulty or play with a whole lot in the settings, but there are ways that you can play it differently than you've ever played it before if you pick it up again. So I would encourage everyone to give it another go. It's a great game.
Yeah. But I was really enjoying myself. I didn't like the grindiness of it, but it is what it is. You got to if you're going to have 151 of something, you're going to have to grind eventually. And as I was reading into it, I realized there are ways around that. You can drop them off at the Pokemon Daycare Center, pay some money, and level them up the cheap way. But one thing I didn't like about the game was if the Pokemon wasn't in battle, they got no experience, which kind of made leveling up kind of more of a chore than it ought to have been. other than that, everything about this game, the nostalgia I have for it, the good times, it got me through some of the rough times. So the good times I've had with this game are just absolutely fantastic. Everything you guys said is absolutely true. I, of course, yield my lack of knowledge to your guys' absolute genius level knowledge on this thing. So with that, Danny, we'll go with you first. What are you going to score the game out of 10?
10. I'm so biased. It's not a 10. I know it's not, but I'm going to score it a 10.
Yeah, you're allowed to, and then we can just erase it later and when we hang up.
Correct.
Sam, what are you going to score the game?
It's a 10. I can't give it anything but a 10. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys today, obviously without having played it. You know, if I had never played Pokemon, obviously I wouldn't be talking to you about Pokemon if I had never played Pokemon, but I wouldn't be doing this podcast or still, you know, it sparked my love of gaming. Like, I already had been playing video games at the time that I played this, but really this solidified, you know, that I love doing this. So it's a 10 for me.
Yeah. I'm going to go against the curve. I'm going to go a 9. Like I said, a little grindy for this day and age. I know it's an old game and you kind of have to give it what it is, but yeah, it took a little away from me. Not to mention I'm still bitter about losing my save file, so the game gets punished. I'm not even going to ask what the tier level is because we already know it's going to be an S.
Yeah, it's an S tier. This is an S tier game for me. And if you want to come at me, by all means. This is my favorite game. This is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, I'm not even going to fight you on this. We'll have that battle later.
Okay.
Danny, you don't disagree with the S tier of this game? Obviously, you said you're biased, so I'm just going to read between the lines.
It's S tier, and I'll fight you all. I'll rip your dick off if you're going to argue with me.
I'll rip your onyx off and beat you to death with it.
It's our first F tier game. It is right at the bottom. Danny, come at me, bro.
I'm going to my flight to Canada right now. It's 5 to 7 in the morning. I will be there shortly.
Hey, you can't just fly into Canada. You have to go to Mexico and cross the border into the States, then cross the border into Canada, as is tradition.
As is the way, as is tradition.
You know what,
Danny?
This game gets an F for not having exploits. How about that? That's the only thing that it gets F for. But that's part of what makes it its charm. So really, that just solidifies its S tier status.
There you go. All right, Danny, thanks for joining us. Check him out on Retro Wars, wherever you find your podcast. Usually every Monday out in North America time, so I imagine Tuesdays in Australia. Check him out on YouTube at Retro Wars UK, his YouTube channel, and join his Patreon. Join me in commenting every episode until he becomes big enough that he drowns me out. Never. Absolutely. Again, thanks, Danny. Very much appreciate what you've done for us to help me and Sam kind of develop ourselves on your platform, and we thank you for coming onto our platform and sharing with us your Pokemon wisdom.
No, loved it. Thank you very much for inviting me, guys. It's nice to return the favor because you guys help me out all the time. Let's be honest. If I don't have guests, I don't have a show. So thank you very much. And yes, I am happy to come back on any time and talk shite. That's what I'm there for.
All right. You're welcome anytime.
Breath of Fire next week.
Yeah, bro, God. I played that too, and I don't even want to talk about it. Yeah, well, Danny, bit of trivia for the listeners. The first time I was ever even on a podcast was on Danny's show to talk about Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. So thanks for helping me get my start. Yeah. Feels like it was a long time ago, but yeah, that was the first time I ever sat in front of this microphone and recorded anything. So thanks, Danny, for getting me started here, get my feet wet, and then that's it, I guess. Anything else anyone wants to say before we wrap it up?
Any final words, Danny?
You can get a Nido King in the Viridian Forest. You can complete the game in less than 5 minutes. There we go.
Jesus Christ.
And with that is everything we have for Retrotopia this week. Almost some Retro Wars again.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sam, what are we talking about next week? I don't think I wrote it down, but I think
it's Minish Cap, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, Minish Cap. So, until next time, have a great week, everyone, if you're listening early in the week. And go play with your balls.